Hi, welcome. Let me introduce myself. My name is Elaine. I'm owner and creator at Inspired by My Angel, CLM, where I make wreaths for all the seasons, holidays, and special occasions. First off, let me say I am new at the art of wreath making. My journey began September 2020. I discovered my joy. After watching YouTube videos and Facebook Lives where I found different designers, I decided this is something I have such a passion for, and I believe a talent as well. So that led me to join 2 design classes, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. And what I thought I would like to do is share my journey with you and hopefully inspire you to perhaps go on this journey with me. So today we're going to be working on a centerpiece, and we're going to get started with that in just a few minutes. I'm going to be showing you the supplies I'll be using and what's necessary. And we'll do it together, okay? Thank you. Okay, I think you can see everything okay. Okay, the centerpiece I'm going to be doing today is going to be in this container. It's a container that belonged to my dad. It's an antique, I believe, at this point. So I want to be able to use it again. And I was told if you wanted to do that, and I've already gone ahead, I took some duct tape and just rolled it on itself and placed it in the bottom, so I will be able to take this out. But I'm going to go over with you how we're going to glue this into the container. Okay, this is some of the greenery that I'm going to be using. We've got this fern. I've also got a little bit of Dusty Miller. And then I picked up these florals. I believe they're dahlias. And I've got 3 of this. I'm not exactly sure how many we'll use, but I like them because they're in various points of growth. We've got it full open, and then we have a smaller bud. And that should help create a little interest in our centerpiece. This could be used for Valentine's Day, choosing this color, but it's also going to go nicely in my bedroom. Okay, and then for filler flowers, I've got these tiny in the same color. This is also another greenery that I thought we would use. I think it's all going to look nice together. I'm not exactly sure how much of this I'll be using. We're going to be doing this together and figuring it out. Okay, and again with the fern. Okay, so let me just put that aside. And what I'm going to be needing today is some clippers to clip my stem, pliers, scissor. Okay, first off, I'm going to need to glue this floral foam and make sure that it comes below the top of your container. So first off, we're going to need to put that in. So let me just get a stem that I can use for my glue. Okay, this is just a stem that I've cut off of a floral piece, and I'm just going to use that to dip in my skillet. You can see here I'm melting some glue. This is just easier to use than the glue gun and less likely to burn myself. So all I'm going to do is take the glue, and I'm just going to spread it right here where it's going to meet with that other piece that I've placed in the bottom. Okay? Put that down, and now I'm just going to place that, hold it down, And we're good. Okay, so that's nice and secure. Now we'll need to take a little bit of Spanish moss and we'll put that to cover our foam. So here we go. I've got some Spanish moss here. We don't need a lot. What I've learned is you just cover. You don't want it to be too thick. You just want to disguise the foam. And of course we'll go in and we'll add more if we find it's necessary as we're going along. Okay, and then to secure that in place, I'm going to use floral pins, or they're called U-pins. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. It's just shaped like a U. And what I'm going to do is just place that on the foam, holding our moss in place. And the way that it was described to me is you don't want too much of this Spanish moss, because when you put the glue on your stem and you're trying to insert into your foam, the glue will pool on the moss and you won't get a true secure insertion. So that's why we don't want to use too much. We want to be able to access the foam underneath. So I'm just going to take maybe a little bit more right there. And I've just used 4 of these floral pins. Okay. Take a little bit more, and I'm just going to lay that along the sides just to cover up the space that we have there. We'll be putting all of our stems into the foam. This is just to cover the void that we have. It's a little messy. Okay. So there we go. So we've got that covered. I'm going to place this to the side. When get our stems ready, let me just clean up. Put this away. We're done with our floral foam. Our pins and our moss. Clear that out of the way. And you can, I bought this at Walmart. They sell it at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any place, crafts, where they sell crafts. Okay, so we'll put that away. We're not going to need that anymore. Okay, so what I'd like to do is start with my greenery. So I'm going to start with this Dusty Miller. And I'm just going to cut the stems off. Get rid of my price tag. And I just purchased this at Joann's. It's something that I've had here. And then what you want to do is take your stems and you want to just move them, fluff them out, so it has a little bit of life. Okay? So put that to the side. And so we're just going to go ahead and cut this stem up. I may end up dividing if I don't feel as though I need all this length. I may make 2 pieces, but for now I'm going to leave it the length that it is to create the height in the arrangement that we're going to be doing. Okay, so let me come up here. I'm going to cut this off. This stem I'll keep because I can always use that for my glue pot. And again, make sure we're touching everything and just letting it get a little more fullness. So that's a nice tall one. That might be one that we're going to want to use in the center of our arrangement. Just get these all ready. Again, I'm going to take off my tag. Give this a little bend. Get the leaves to open up a little bit. You can see how I'm doing that. And then as we get it in the piece, if we need to move it, we'll do that again as well. That's a little taller, so I'll leave that to the side. Just cut this one off. I'm going to save that, put it aside. Just moving it around a little. That's nice. Okay. Let me bring my container back over. And I guess the rule of thumb in designing an arrangement is you usually go 1.5 times the height of the container that you're using. So this would be 1.5. That's just about right. So let me just see how I would like that before I put glue on it. And that would give us our height. And then we would come out. So that looks good to me. So I'm going to dip it in my skillet, which has the melted glue. Twirl it around to get any of the glue strings off. And I don't know if you can see that, how much glue I have on that. So I'm just going to find that center where I'd gone in before, and I'm just going to push that all the way down. Okay? So we've got that in the center. Now I'm going to take some of these other pieces, and let's see how far out we want that to come on the side. I'm going to cut just a little bit more length off. And I think that would be good if it was over about maybe 3 inches. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that. Twirl and get the excess so you're not pulling strings. And I'm just going to put that right in here. And we're just going to give that a little bend. Maybe use my pliers. Bend it a little bit closer to the base and up. Okay, so you can see how far we're coming out here. So let's go to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. Yeah, and that's about 3 inches. So I'm going to dip that in my glue. And we're just going to be working like side to side. Insert. Give it a little bend up and then down. Okay, and with this we're establishing our line where our other greenery and florals are going to stay within as we build this up. So we're just going to continue along. And now we'll go from this side. Put a little bit of glue, twirl it. I'm not going in flat. I want it, you know, to have that movement. So I think that looks nice. And now we've got another piece. We'll do the same thing on this side. Trying to maintain that distance that we've already created with our other pieces. And that looks good. I'll dip it in my glue. Insert. I'm going to raise it up a little and then bend it down. And see how it just opens up that leaf. There, that looks nice. We've still got one tall piece. We're going to hold that aside. We'll see if we're going to need that. But that's what we've got so far. Okay. So what I've learned in the design classes that I'm taking is it varies different circumstances, but to get your greenery in and develop your line. So we've got our height and we've got the width that we want. So we've established our line. Next, what I'd like to do is come in with our larger floral. Okay, so that's the dahlia here. I'm just going to snip that off. And that's large. I don't want that to be too tall. So probably about 2/3 of the way up for the greenery that we already have placed. So snip that. Take my price tag off. And these I picked up at Michael's, 80% off in the Christmas section. But as you can see, it's a beautiful dahlia, and that can be used year-round. Okay, I don't think I want these leaves. I'm just going to snip that off. Snip this off. Let's see, bring this back over and see how this is going to look. I put that here. Yeah, that'll be nice. We really only need the insertion to be about a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to trim a little bit more of this off. Put some glue. And go back in approximately where I had just tried that. Okay? Give it a little bend. Okay. So now we have this smaller bud. I'm going to hold off on that because I think I'm going to want that high, and I'm going to have to add a floral stick to that. So let me just get another one of the larger flowers. Also, what I've learned in the design classes is, and you probably, I know this, it's what they tell you even in home decor, is pleasing to the eye is in odd numbers. So when you're adding the larger florals like this, you want to keep it odd. So either we would do 1, 3, 5, 7, you know, whatever the case would be. But I'm going to put, I don't want these to be on the same height, so I'm going to let this one be a little bit taller, but not taller than my greenery. Okay. So take those leaves off. I do save all of my leaves. I put them in a little Ziploc bag because there's sometimes when you might have a little piece of glue showing if you were designing a wreath, and you would use the leaves to hide the mechanics. So I do save those. Okay, and I'm just leaving one leaf on, and again, I'm bending this a little bit. This time I'm going to go on the other side, but as I said, I'm going to leave that a little taller, but not taller than our greenery. Okay. So put a little glue. that looks nice. See, the greenery is still above, but we've got that placed there. So that looks good. Okay, let's place our third. And this one I'm going to let be a little shorter. And I'm going to keep some length on this bud. I won't need to put a floral pick, I don't think, on this. Okay, and I'm going to leave those leaves as well. These I'll just save. Okay, so give this a little bend, bring this back over. I'm thinking, don't want it to be exact, but I want this to be low to the edge of our container. I'm just going to put a little glue, swirl it, and this one I'm going to insert here. And I'm going to just let that one hang a little lower. There. Okay. So we've got our one long stem. Take those lower leaves off. And I'm thinking this would look nice. We don't want them touching. This would be nice a little higher, like the new bud getting ready to open. So I think I'm going to place that there. So add my glue. Come into the center. And make sure we're into the foam. And place that one. Okay, so that's where we put that little bud. Okay, so we've got 4 in there now. I've got another bud, and this one I want to keep shorter. So I'm going to come to the opposite side, and I'm going to insert. Okay, and we've got one more. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'll wait on this one. We'll see if it needs it. Okay, and I'm going to go in and add some of this greenery as well, just to introduce another texture. That's another thing I've learned. You'd like to have at least 3 types of greenery in your design, whether that be a centerpiece like we're doing now, or if it's a wreath. It just creates interest. I'm going to cut a piece off, and this particular one is what they call a slider. You can push it up and make it a little longer, or push it down. I think it's going to be a little too heavy, so I'm going to push that up and cut that here. And then what I do, so these other leaves won't, I just take my plier, twist, then I can push these leaves up and they're not going to fall off. Okay, so we've got this one. We'll bend it a little bit. And we'll just start introducing some of that into our arrangement. Let me put some glue. Well, that looks nice. Yeah. So let me get a few of these cut off. Okay, so we'll go. And that's the other thing. You don't want to just take a large stem, a bush like this, and insert it. You want to separate it more like what it would look like in nature. And you get more for your money that way too. You're dividing this up. Like each one of these stems I'm cutting, I'm going to get 2 pieces out of it. So again, I'm going to cut this. But I do go back and take my plier and just turn that edge, okay? And pull this one off. Put that back on, and then I just slide it up and it catches it, so you don't have to worry that that's going to slip off. Okay, so now we have another one. But let's go ahead and put this up top one that we were first working with, fluff it. One of the girls that I take a class with, she says shake hands with it. So you're touching each piece before you put it in. So it has some life. Okay, so we had one there. So I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to place one there. Okay. So now we'll come in here. Use that piece the other piece that we cut off. And I'm going to go under this one, this dahlia. And let that just come out from underneath. Let me see if I need to adjust this a little bit. This camera, if you can see this okay. Okay, so we did this side, here, here. Now we need to come over to this side. So again, I'm going to use that other piece that we have, fluff it, put a little glue, and I'll come under this dahlia here a little more towards the center. Pulling any glue strings as we go. Okay, that's getting nice and full. That looks pretty. I like it. Okay, we'll just keep adding a little bit more of this green. I'm going to slide that up so it's a little bit longer. Cut it here so I've got some room to insert. And like I said, I take my plier and I just curve that because this moves on the stem and we certainly wouldn't want that to slip off. So then I just slide it up to where I made that twist, and you're not even going to see that. Okay. Come in this side. That's falling out. So we've inserted 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of that. We'll do a couple more. We may not need everything that I cut here. It's already getting pretty full. So we've got it going around and opposite. I think I'm going to try to go a little towards the center just to mix some of this greenery in. Don't forget, we've still got some fern that we're going to be putting in also, and filler flowers. So I think a couple more pieces will do. Okay, snip that. Curl that, push it up. I think I could use another piece right here. Put some glue on our stem. Push that in. And I think I'm going to just bend that down. So it's just coming over the sides. I'm constantly pulling my glue off, and I just drop the strings right back into my glue and let them melt again. Okay, so we've got one more piece here right now. I'm going to put these others to the side. If we need them, we'll go back. Let's see where we need to put this. I think right behind this bud. Okay. Yeah. So this is what we have so far. Okay. Now let's do a little bit of our fern. We'll push that aside. We'll get a few pieces of our fern off. So let's do maybe 5. 1, 2. They're long on the outside and then get a little shorter towards the center, so I'm going to take from different places. So they're not all at the same length, but similar. Okay. I'm sorry, I think I just had my head in that shot. Okay, I'm going to put that aside and we'll just work with what we've got here so far. Again, take our tag, remove that. And we need to create a stem. Put this down a little bit more now. There you go. So I'm just going to pull these little pieces off just to give us like an inch, inch and a half. Again, move them. These are nice, they're wired, because they wouldn't be growing straight like this in nature. They'd be more like this. Okay, so now we'll see where we want to put this. I don't want it to be too close to the edge because we had already decided that this was how wide we were going to come. But I just want to introduce the texture, which I think is going to look really nice and add some contrast with the deeper green. So we'll try that here. That looks nice. Okay, so we'll pull the little pieces so we've got a stem to work with. And if we were putting a bow, if we were making a wreath and using this fern, these little pieces are always nice to save, and you can incorporate those into your bow. I'm just going to put those aside. Okay. Like I said, give it some movement. This one's a little tall, so I think it could come up behind this larger, taller dahlia that we've inserted and the long piece of Dusty Miller. So I'm going to go right down there and insert that. Just give it a little bend. That looks nice. So I already worked on one side. Now I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to repeat. And again, we're just going to give this a nice little bend. And I just pulled that off. Okay. I need to learn to be a little more gentle. Okay. Okay, so we've got a piece there. So now we'll come over to this side. I like this fern, looks pretty. We'll go right in this spot. That looks nice. Okay, we've got this other tall one. We have one coming out over here, so why don't we go opposite, and we'll get another one over here. That way we're keeping it evenly dispersed throughout the design. Push this one in. nice. I actually have a little Lazy Susan that I could be working with. It's covered in paint from doing other projects, but I could put it on there and just makes my life a little easier. Okay, so we've got that fern. I really like that texture in there. I think I'm going to add a few more of the fern. Just a couple. Okay. So. And it's interesting too. You can see it's realistic. It has the various shades in there and like the new curls where the fern is going to open up. That's nice. Keep it, I mean, we know it's artificial, but we'd like to keep it as realistic as we can. But I like that. Okay. So I think I'm going to come in here. Okay, so we just put that piece in there. You can see it's got that little curl. It looks pretty. Just bend these as we go. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think just one more over here on this side, and that'll be enough of the fern. Clip that off. Pull our bottom pieces off. Give it a little bend, and like I said, I think it needs to go, I keep putting my head in the picture, I'm sorry. I think it needs to go right in here. That looks nice. It's got that little bend. Pick off our glue. Okay, I think what I'd like to do now is add some of the filler flowers that we have. Just push that aside and we'll cut a few of these. Pretty, it's got that little yellowy green in the center. Get our tag off. Move our flowers to make this one a little long. Take off that little piece we cut. Okay, we'll bring this back over. We'll start with the one stem and see where it gets us. Okay. That's pretty. Okay, here's another one a little tall, and I'm going to leave that leaf on it. We'll come to the other side. We'll introduce that to this side. Making sure to keep each of our florals individual. You know, not touching different heights. You don't want everything in a line. You want to break that line, or plane is what they call it. Okay, so we don't have anything touching. That looks nice. And actually, you see a little hole right here. I think I'm going to add this other bud that we had kept aside. Yeah, I'm going to put this right in there while I see that spot. And just kind of stand back and look at it, see where you need to put your others. So we've got one here, one on this side. Need to introduce one over here, maybe a little more towards the center. That looks nice. That seems a little bare here. Put one on this side. It keeps a nice airy feel that with that fern and these filler flowers. Okay. Let's see. I think, no, let's see. I think right in there. And a lot of it is, at least for myself, it's what's pleasing to your eye. You're the one who's creating. No two designs are going to be exactly the same. So you just look at it and you decide, well, oh yeah, that looks nice there. Just go with it. Okay. I think we need some more of that. So I'm going to cut another. These two, I had gotten the dahlias at Michael's, and these were in the Christmas section. Regularly $9.99, and I got them for 80% off. So keep your eyes open. The change of seasons. It's a great time to pick up some florals. Like I would have these for Christmas, but I mean, I can use these all spring and summer. So it's a good value for us as creators. And that's what we need to look for. Okay, so we'll just cut this up. Tag off. And then we'll keep this one a little long. We can come up in the center with this one. Give it a bend. That'll look nice. Okay. So I'm going to get that in here. Just kind of separate. We're getting a little full now. So just separate with your finger where you've decided that you're going to place it. And again, always with the glue strings, but you'll go over it when we're all finished. I like this, just using we've got 3 different shades of greenery, and then we're pretty much just sticking with the one shade in the flower, and I think that looks really nice. Yeah, just turn it, and if you see a spot looks like it needs it, go for it. Just separate so I can get in there. Get strings off. Right in here. Just make a little room. Yeah, right in there. And as we're building this, I can't see any of my floral foam at all. With the greenery and what Spanish moss we placed on our foam. It looks good. I'm looking at it from all angles and you can't see any. Okay, I already cut this one off, so I might as well use it. I think I'll have it a little shorter down here. Okay, I think we did it. This is pretty. Go on the side table, in the foyer as you come in the door. I'm going to use this in the bedroom on the dresser. If someone wanted to use this for Valentine's Day, we could have just made a small bow and just attached it over here to the side. Still can be used as Valentine's. You could put glitter picks with little hearts on it. I believe you could use this all year. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope I explained everything to you. You understood. I was clear. And I would love to continue doing this. And whoever's interested, take you along with me on my journey. And hopefully inspire you to want to play with the flowers. And you may find that you have a talent that you weren't aware that you had. So until the next video, this is Elaine, and I'll say goodbye. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.